pause, let's jump right into it. Here I'm just showing you my braid pattern. I pretty much leave like a half an inch out across the front, along the sides, and in the back to cover up my braids so that it looks as natural as possible. And then I flat twist those down to keep those out of the way. Then here I am oiling my scalp. This is a protective style, so you want to make sure our hair is nice and moisturized underneath. I already put in leave-in before I braided my hair, and now I am just oiling the parts. And in this bottle I have vitamin E, castor oil, and some olive oil. And now I am showing you the hair that I'm using. I use 2 different brands of hair and 2 different types of curls. One because the first one is longer and I wanted it longer in the back, so I use at the bottom. And then this Bohemian curl I use along the top just because I like the shininess of the hair more than I like the other pack. So I use both, one for length and then one for volume and shine. And I'm going to link both of those guys below so that you'll know exactly what hair to get in case you are interested in this style. Here I'm taking the first longer brand of hair. And this is also similar to a Bohemian curl, and it comes pre-looped, and I'm just taking those pre-loops and stretching those out, pulling those apart. And then here I am going in with like your standard crochet method. You want to stick the needle through, you want to pull the hair through, you want to then open the loop. And then I use the double tie just to make sure it's extra secure. So I tie it, I twist the loop, and then I pull it back through, and then I pull it taut. And if you do this, I definitely suggest doing the double loop instead of the single loop so that none of the crochet slip out. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to speed through the install process because it's just literally your standard crochet install with a double loop. Again, I'm using the longer hair in the back. I believe the longer one is a 12-inch, and then the other brand that I'm going to be using later is the shorter. I believe it's like an 8-inch. I'm going to show you how to make that stretch. Even though it's shorter and it did not come in other lengths, that's why I went with the 2 different brands, because I really did want the length at the back and then the bottom. So yeah, I'm going to continue just to install this all the way up the back, and then I'm going to come back once we're closer to the front and we're talking about closing it up and making it look as seamless as possible. So stay tuned. So now I am taking the second brand in this shorter Bohemian curl. And as you can see, it is a lot shorter, but I am going to show you how to stretch this out just to make it slightly longer until you get to the top. But then you want it to be shorter because you want to taper off. Now these curls come in thicker pieces, and along the front you don't want it to be thick and bulky. So I did take each curl and then split it in half, as you can see here. This does one of 2 things. It makes it not as bulky in the front, but it also separates the curl for you instead of having to go through after installing and separate each curl. Once you do the split apart, it automatically kind of separates it and give it that natural frizz look to it to make the style look more natural as well. So here you just want to take it in the front, separate it. If you're going in the back, you don't necessarily have to separate it because it can be a little thicker in the back. You just don't want that bulk towards the front of your head. So separate and then install as normal. Here I am zooming in on the front just to show you just a closer up of how I install the front. I do place these closer together in the front, and I use, again, smaller pieces because you do not want again, that bulk. And as you can see, I kind of staggered that piece where one side was longer than the other to give that length, and then the short with the long is just going to add to the volume. So again, this hair is a little bit shorter and it only came in the 1 length, but to stretch it, all you have to do is just kind of stagger it. So instead of grabbing it dead center, you just kind of pull one side and make it slightly longer on the other one side, and then you install it that way. And then I'm going to show you a different way to also stretch the hair. So I just kind of mixed it up, and then the mixture just kind of adds to the volume. Here I am splitting it apart, and then as you can see, I'm staggering those two halves. where I'm just pulling one in and then making it again longer to stretch it out. But once I get to the top, I'm just going to take it dead center because I want it to be shorter towards the top and towards the front to kind of create that bang. So again, just keep on looking. We are almost there. Now we are rounding out the top and we're going to get ready to cut and style. I am on the final braid, and then again just taking that, making those pieces pretty small, and then make sure that you are stitching them pretty close together so that you don't have any gaps or any weird bumps or lumps and you can't see your braids. So yeah, I went with the middle part. You can go with, and this style is very versatile. You can definitely part it on any side that you want. I'm probably going to rock the middle part. For the most part, there's some updos, and I will be doing a separate style video, different ways to style this different hairdo. But for right now, we're doing the middle part. And then after I've done installing everything, I pull that back and then I go right along the edge. You see how it's kind of like that gap between my real hair in the front and then where the braids start. I'm trying to close that up as much as possible. So once everything is installed, I pull everything back and then go right along the edges and add one more crochet right along the edges. Again, make sure that you split that out because you definitely don't want any bulk around your edges, because then your hair won't cover it seamlessly once you go to put it up. Now, you do not have to leave any hair out in the front if you want it to be completely protective. Again, this is just something that I want to be as versatile as possible. So leaving that bit out in the front allows me to do various different styles without my braids showing, because that ain't cute for anyone. So I would definitely suggest doing this final step, just kind of going through and making sure that you just kind of finish that off. So we're going to continue to finish those few off, and then we are going to cut and style it, because with the longer pieces in the bottom and using the two different hair types, hair textures, and hair lengths, you'll see once I let it all down that there's not a good shape to it. So we want to make sure that you get a good shape to it. Now I just went and put on some quick makeup and put on some clothes, get ready to go out for the day. And then I'm just taking loose those flat twists that I did across the front. Try to be easy when you're doing this, because the flat twist not only keeps the hair out of the way, but it also gives that hair texture that will mimic this Bohemian curl. So just kind of take this out as neat as possible so that you don't really disturb the curl of the curl pattern. And of course, we're going to slick our edges later, but I'm just taking out the twist along the front and along the sides and the back. So now we're going to let it all down. And as you can see, it's not, as you can see, for one, you can put it up, but it's not as shaped as I would like for it to be. Look at that middle part, girl. That thing looks seamless. She looks beautiful. I absolutely love, 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 love the way that this turned out. So now I'm taking my scissors and I'm going to go along the bottom and take off some of that length. And then I'm going to go into it with an angle down to cut layers into it. So you want to pull the hair out and then you want to angle your scissors down and cut layers into it, starting with the shortest layer at the top and then just cutting into it, angling down that way, if any of that makes sense. Just kind of fluff and pull and kind of cut what looks out of order, and then of course do the exact same on the opposite side. Go ahead and cut off some of that length so that it looks more seamless, and then cut into it, cover up the girls, and then cut into it to add more dimension, to add some more layers, and to really get that volume that you need. And again, kind of pull it out and see what doesn't make sense, if it looks too full or if it looks too long, and then just kind of chip away at it slowly. Do not take big chunks. Do not rush this process, because once you've cut too much, there is no going back, and then you don't want to have done all this work for nothing and then have to take some out. So yeah, here I am just kind of fluffing it and getting a feel for how it turned out. I absolutely love it. It looks so natural to me and it looks so pretty. Usually this should last me for a good 4 to 5 weeks if I maintain it well at night. And yeah, this is pretty much the final looks. Jump in the comment section. Here's how you how it looks if you kind of pull it up and look at your edges. Just see, again, it can be worn into a ponytail. But I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.